Hey guys, Rafe here from Evolve Move Play. Today I have a question for you. Do we need self-esteem or do we need selves worth esteeming? You see, we live in a world right now where there's epidemic rates of anxiety, depression, and even suicide, where 1 in 10 Americans is on psychiatric medication. And we've come to believe that we're suffering, that we're depressed, that we're anxious because of a lack of self-esteem. And we've been trying to solve this problem for 2 generations with changing our education system, with self-esteem training, and yet it doesn't seem to be working. In fact, it seems to be creating people who are entitled and insecure. And I think we have the cart before the horse. You see, when you get a participation trophy, when you didn't work as hard, and you didn't have as much talent, and you didn't care as much about what was happening as the next guy, that doesn't actually make you feel better. It doesn't actually build your self-esteem. It makes you feel like the system is illegitimate. And on this other side, when you're the guy who works hard, or the girl who works hard, and tries your best, and actually has talent at what you're doing, and you get no more recognition than the participation trophy that everybody else gets, that erodes your self-worth. And it takes away the incentive for success. It takes away the incentive to grow the type of person that's actually worth esteeming. So I think that we've got the cart before the horse. I think that we need to focus on building a self-worth esteeming, because we live at a time when there's a paradox. No culture in history has been as powerful as we are now. We can send men to the moon. We can build the internet. We can build high-speed trains, giant bridges and dams. We have smartphones that give us powers that would be unimaginable to generations that preceded us. And yet, in some sense, each of us is a smaller and narrower container of the competencies of our cultures. None of us can go to the moon on our own. None of us can build our own smartphones. And not only are we not capable of doing the vast majority of the things that our culture runs on, we're not capable of the things that were the basics for human life throughout our history. If we go back 150 years ago, if we go back 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, we can see that a human being had to be broadly competent. We had to be able to hunt and cook and clean and farm. We had to be able to sing and dance for ourselves because we didn't have TV, we didn't have the radio. We had to be able to move our bodies, we had to be able to defend ourselves. And as we've built this affluent, technocratic society in the West, more and more of those things are irrelevant to our lives. And in many ways, that's a benefit. You know, it's great not to have to defend yourself. It's great to have secure food. The problem is that competency in those areas is one of the things that we derived a sense of self-worth from. And as we've become these specialized little cogs in the giant corporate system, we've actually taken away everything that gives you a sense of self-worth. And so our identity has come to be defined more and more by only 2 things. How much money do you make, and how sexy do you think you are? Right? How many people will like a picture of your butt on Instagram? And what kind of car can you drive? How big is your house? And fundamentally, these are just insufficient grounds to truly build a self upon. And that's why we're suffering a self-esteem problem. So the solution, in my opinion, is become a broadly competent human being. Cultivate yourself. Go and take a cooking class, learn parkour, learn kung fu, start hunting, start making your own food. It doesn't matter too much what the things you invest yourself in are, but invest yourself broadly and in diverse ways. Make of yourself something that's meaningful to you. Become the person that you would admire in many different ways, and you'll find a self-esteem that's so much more meaningful and so much more true.